As I welcome you to today's very special event, I describe it as a demonstration of confidence by our governor, media chart and accounts of stewardship to be done by the Executive Council members as part of activities marking this year's independence anniversary. Without further protocol, let me not preempt the Honorable Commissioner for Information and invite him at this point to please come forward and use a few minutes to tell us why we are here this morning. Engineer Jude Chikadibia Obo, Honorable Commissioner for Information and State Orientation.
Your Excellency, the State Governor of Ebonyi State, Right Honorable Francis Obonye Wifuru. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, Princess Patricia Oyemachi Obila, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. Your Excellency, you were a man that came into governance prepared. You had a clear vision of your leadership trajectory before your election on the 18th of March 2023. In your well-encapsulated manifesto, you stated, amongst others, that your governance is going to be based on open governance and performance management. Today, we are here gathered to tell Ebonians what you've achieved over a short period of time. It is in line with your vision to ensure that governance is based on the needs and wants of the people. Today, Your Excellency, members of the State Executive Council are going to tell the whole world what you have achieved through their respective ministries. It is still morning on Creation Day, because what we are going to hear today is the testament and the direction of what Ebonians are going to expect in the next 8 years. On this note, let me thank His Excellency for making today's event possible. And on that note, I want to thank all of us for being part of history today. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, Engineer Jude Chikadibia Obo. Your Excellency, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege at this point to very humbly invite one of the finest, one of the most performing governors in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about His Excellency, Right Honorable Builder Francis Obonye Wifuru. Honor to please come forward. Your Excellency, to kindly come forward. Okay, he will be talking from his seat, please. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, Deputy Governor of our dear state, Chief Mrs. Patricia Oyemachi Obila, our dear the Right Honorable Speaker, Ebonyi State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Moses Ijodunwa, my Lord, the Chief Judge of our great state, one of our finest leader, Honorable Justice Evis Anegangene, the Deputy Speaker, Ebonyi State House of Assembly, and distinguished principal officers of Ebonyi State House of Assembly that are here present, our dear President, Customary Court of Appeal, distinguished Senator representing the good people of Ebonyi Central at the Apex Chamber of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Kenneth Eze, Chairman Senate Committee on Information, distinguished members of the House of Representatives here present, our dear revered honorable members of Ebonyi State House of Assembly, distinguished ESCO members, refer to the Honorable Commissioners that are here present, Principal Officers of Government, the Secretary, that is the Secretary of the Government of Ebonyi State, Chief of Staff, Head of Service, Principal Secretary, and their dear deputies, our dear revered judges of Ebonyi State High Court, the magistrates, the finest people of our great state, the leaders of the fourth estate of the realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you this morning as your chief servant, the chief servant of our dear state, Ebonyi State, as your governor, to bring before you a modest achievement and significant step so far. As government, since assumption of office on May 29, 2023, I appreciate God Almighty for seeing us worthy to serve you in the Ebonyi at this critical point in the history of our nation, Nigeria. You made it possible through your votes for us, believing in our agenda, themed People's Charter of Need, very much ambiguous manifesto of ours, meant to consolidate on the beautiful achievement of the previous administration of Engineer Chief David Nweze Umahi. We have since then started work, and today we are 152 days in office as the drivers of policies that suit your need and strategies for implementing same. We began by calling on the service of the mix of trucks professionals and bureaucrats from among us to serve you in Ebonyi in the various capacities. These opportunities we gave to most of the appointees of government are in different cadres. We have personal assistants, special assistant, senior special assistant to the governor. Unfortunately, as it stands today, we don't have special advisor. Principal officers of government and the honorable commissioners we have. These commissioners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, are ones we drive the policies, the programs, and the implementation of our dear manifestos as the need of the people demand, following the dictate of our dear manifesto. Today we are here to interact with you and for the commissioners to inform you of our modest stride as it concerns their respective ministries since we took up this mandate. May I importantly note that today's event portrays our commitment to the tenets of democracy, transparency, respect to the right of our good people, the finest people of our dear state. Significantly, this is coming few hours before Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary and the 27th anniversary of the creation of our dear state, Ebonyi. Our first celebration of this momentous occasion as government on a belief and also on a brief note, we can comfortably state that we have engaged in a blend of action to serve the current need of Ebonyi people, while setting foundations for the future As government, we understand that our eyes must be beamed in securing the future of our children, but as well, satisfying your immediate need. Within this month in office, we have found a balance between these two important levels. May I seize this opportunity to appreciate the great support of Ebonyi people so far. You have continued to lend in your voices. When we call on you, you have collaborated with us to serve you better. We request that you continue in this light because government cannot do it alone. We count on you. We count on your prayers, your ingenuities, your advices, constructively, and a very good constructive criticism is part of what we need in our government. And patience at all times, because we are not perfect. Let me equally appreciate our dear stakeholders, traditional fathers, religious leaders, our great men of God, for their guidance and steady encouragement in these past few months ago. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that together we deliver good governance, good dividend of democracy to our people, and take Ebonyi State to the success stage. It is therefore my honor and privilege to declare this platform open and call on all of you to feel free and engage us constructively, knowing fully well that we are here to serve you. We believe and trust in the individual capacity of our dear commissioners. As your governor, I promise that we will continue to make you proud. Our goal is to bequeath peace and success to you. Ebonyi, we will achieve this and many more through Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Can we appreciate His Excellency one more time? Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We appreciate you. Your Excellency, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to move over to the Honorable Commissioners to give account of their stewardships, ministry by ministry. But before then, I have the honor and privilege to inform you that activities for this year's anniversary have been adjusted. It goes this way. Tomorrow, October 1, 2023, there will be the grand finale in front of Governor's Office, Ochudo Centenary City, and it will feature parades and flag off of distribution of palliatives. At 10 o'clock in the morning, anniversary Thanksgiving church service will hold at Government House Chapel, Ochudo Centenary City. And may I also inform you that the state banquet scheduled to hold in the evening and the grand finale for Monday, 2nd October, have been cancelled. Thank you very much. At this point, Your Excellency, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to first invite to the microphone to tell the people of Ebonyi State, the people of Nigeria, and in fact the whole world, what His Excellency has done in the Ministry of Justice. I would like to invite Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Dr. Ben Uruchi Odo, to please come forward. Attorney General, sir.
Your Excellency, our dear Governor, Right Honorable Francis Ebonyi, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Your Honor, the Speaker of Ebonyi State House of Assembly, my Lord, the CJ, for paucity of time, kindly permit me to align myself on the plank of protocols that have been established by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor. At the Ministry of Justice, what His Excellency has been able to achieve from the time from May 29 till date through the Ministry of Justice is that first, we digitized and had an automated Ebonyi State Ministry of Justice with case managed system. We now have an e-Ministry of Justice. It helps us in our case flow. With your handset, you can be at home and check the status of our cases in court and see what we are doing at the Ministry of Justice. All you need to do is just to Google www.ebonystatemoj.org. Then you will see our digitized, automated e-justice, e-Ministry of Justice. And that's what we've been able to do. Now, when lawyers go to court, they come back and update our system. We'll be able to know lawyers who are not serious with their matters, and then we'll call them to order to know why they are not serious with our matters. It's a world-class automated e-justice system that we can beat our chest and say it we've bequeathed through the Ministry of Justice, through this administration. One thing about this administration through the Ministry of Justice is that when we came on board, we discovered that the justice system that we have in Ebonyi State, and by extension in Nigeria, is restorative justice system. Restorative justice system is a type of justice system that uses two approaches in crime management. First, punishment, and two, vengeance. So we spoke to ourselves and said there is a need for paradigm shift from this restorative justice system that we currently have for this retributive justice system that we currently have to a restorative justice system that we ought to have. We looked at the revelational judgment that Chukwudife Oputa, late of the Justice of the Supreme Court, held in the case of Godwin Josiah against the state in 1985 as reported in Nigerian Part 125. That justice should not be a one-way traffic, not even a two-way traffic, but a three-way traffic. First, justice to the accused. Second, justice to the victim. Third, justice to the society. The justice system we have is a one-way traffic justice system that provides justice only to the accused. So at the Ministry of Justice, we did an intentional paradigm shift because we looked at what we should do to have the justice system that we ought to have, which is restorative justice system. So we had to look at the enabling laws that will help us to achieve that. And we found out that we have the Ebonyi State Administration of Criminal Justice Law of 2019. That legal framework helped us to create a paradigm shift from the retributive justice system that we have to a restorative justice system that we ought to have. The beauty of this restorative justice system that we have shifted to is that instead of using two approaches in crime management, it uses four approaches in crime management. First is reconciliation. It is a justice system that reconciles a criminal defendant with the victim. Second is restoration. It is a justice system that helps to restore the society into pre-crime situation. So then the third is re-institution. It is a justice system that helps to pay compensation to a victim of crime, especially victims of violent crime. And then fourthly is a justice system that uses the pillar of reintegration. Who do we reintegrate? We reintegrate ex-offenders back into the society after serving their jail term without stigmatization. So right now we are working on a bill that we provide for in Ebonyi State, victim remedy compensation, whereby victims of crime can be compensated either by the accused persons or by the state, especially in violent crimes. The second thing we've been able to do under this administration is that we decided to visit the Nigerian custodial centers. We have two centers, custodial centers in Ebonyi State. Number one is the Abakaliki Custodial Center. Number two is the Afikpo Custodial Center. When we visited the Abakaliki Custodial Center, we were shocked to our marrows. What did we do? What did we see? We saw that the custodial center of the Nigerian Correctional Service in Abakaliki is built to warehouse 387 inmates. That prison yard is built to accommodate 387 inmates. But the day we visited there, we discovered that the Abakaliki Custodial Center is warehousing 1,336 inmates. I personally entered into one of the cells and I counted the number of inmates inside the custodial center in one of the rooms, the cells, and I found 126 inmates in one cell. 126 inmates in one room. And we were displeased. Now, out of the 1,336 inmates, we did an investigation to discover that some of them are there and they are sick. 9 had contagious tuberculosis. 5 were mentally sick. 6 had HIV positive. And they were kept in the same center. So what we did was to come out and say, okay, how do we, as a matter of urgency, decongest the system, decongest the prisons, and look at the people who are not supposed to be there to be able to come out. And then people who are supposed to be there should remain there. I gave an instruction to the management team of the Ministry of Justice to swan into action and give an accelerated attention to all the case files, especially the inmates who do not have case files and they are kept in the custodial centers. I am happy to announce to you, Ebonyans, that from June 1st till date, after that exercise, we've been able to receive 128 case files from the police and from the courts. And then we've been able, out of that 128 case files, we've been able to file information at the High Court, 75 cases. And then we have been able to dispose of full trial, 28 cases. 28 cases have been concluded, criminal cases. Now at the magistrate courts, we have I have the power as Attorney General to use what is this constitutional power under Section 211 to use my prosecutorial discretion in instituting or undertaking or continuing or discontinuing or taking over any criminal matter at any stage before judgment is given. So I do that through my nolli prosecute by fiat. I've been able to issue to use that prosecutorial discretion in the disposal of 13 cases. We've been able to conclude 13 cases through nolli prosecute, and then I have been able to give fiat to 7 persons to enable us conclude our matters. Now, because of time, we also discovered that some cases ought not to be in court. And some Ebonyans who have cases do not have money. So what we quickly did was to establish a center called Ebonyi State Ministry of Justice Citizens Mediation Center, where Ebonyans who cannot afford to pay legal services come to the Ministry of Justice and resolve their matters free of charge. From June 1st till date, we've been able to conclude 46 cases. We have resolved 46 cases free of charge at the Ministry of Justice. My Lord, the CJ is here. Currently, we have Ebonyi State multi-door courthouse. At the multi-door courthouse, businessmen and people who do not want to go to court can go to the multi-door courthouse and resolve their commercial dispute through mediation, negotiation, arbitration, conciliation, without going through litigation process. Finally, finally, because of paucity of time, we've been able to create 3 additional departments at the Ministry of Justice. The first is the Department of Appeal. The Department of Appeal is responsible for all our appellate cases, and they are doing fine. We also created a Department of Sexual Assault and Gender-Based Violence Response to take care of all cases of rapes in Nigeria and then in Ebonyi State. And then finally, we have created another department called the Department of Legal Research, Law Reporting, and ICT. This department is responsible for documenting everything we do. They are responsible for the production of Ebonyi State Ministry of Justice journals. And currently, we are working with my Lord to see that the judgment of the High Court of Ebonyi State is read by others. So very soon we'll be having Ebonyi State High Court, Ebonyi State law report that will contain notable landmark judgment of our judges in Ebonyi State High Court, so that others outside this jurisdiction will be able to pick copies of our law reports and use it to develop their own jurisprudence. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Very beautiful presentation. Very handsome presentation from a handsome man. Please, a round of applause once again to the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Dr. Ben Uruchi Odo. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, we would like to appeal to subsequent speakers to speak to 10 minutes. 10 minutes, please. Once you are given sign, you conclude. At this point, I would like to invite the next speaker, who is the head of service of Ebonyi State, Dr. Mrs. Rita Mary Okoro, to please step forward for her presentation.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Ebonyi State, Right Honorable Builder Francis Obonawifuru, Your Excellency, the Governor, Princess Patricia Onyemechi Obila, distinguished Ebonyians, please permit me, for want of time, to dwell on the protocol as earlier established. Firstly, I must make mention that the Office of the Head of Service is strictly service-oriented and has delivered and will continue to fulfill all its statutory functions. We have achieved effective delivery of these core assignments from May 2023 till date. My office has handled responsibility of providing leadership and direction to all 71 ministries, departments, and government agencies in the state, being the custodian of ethics, ethos, traditions, and conventions of the civil and public service. We have upheld the core services and the core values of the service, which includes honesty, integrity, impartiality, in coordinating various activities of this sector of government. My office has also maintained the institution that is well structured and better organized, whose staff possess the right attitude and motivation to work effectively and efficiently to deliver quality service to our people, and has achieved seamless and effective service delivery. These assignments have been not limited also to provision of relevant data and information for the day-to-day administration and decision-making. With the wealth of knowledge and experience only found in the service, this office has played advisory roles to the state government in handling service matters as concerns career development and progression, deployment, recruitment, discipline, development and review of conditions of service, and the overall welfare of 8,727 state civil servants, 2,851 state pensioners, 15,730 state public servants, comprising of SEB and UBEB, 198 staff of the Ebonyi House of Assembly Service Commission. We have 342 staff of the High Court, 222 staff of the Customary Court, 19 staff of the Judicial Service Commission. Specifically, with all of this in mind, I will now proceed to itemize some of the achievements specific to my office. Top on this agenda is the fact that this state government honored all applications of next of kins and approved the payment of 3.8 million as death benefits to 90 civil and public servants who died in active service between 2018 and 2023. Prior to this, death benefits were last paid in May 2018. My office also identified existing vacancies in the service and sought to fill it. It approved through His Excellency the recruitment of 195 medical personnel. These have been duly recruited and posted to health care facilities across the states. The governor also approved the recruitment of 1,454 staff to fill gaps created by retirements, deaths, and the like existing in the service in the past 8 years. The processes to this is still ongoing. The administration has also approved and implemented the payment of 10,000 naira as wage award to civil and public servants to cushion the effects of the removal of the fuel subsidy. Worthy to note that this was the first in the Southeast, and this idea was conceived even before the idea was conceived nationwide. The administration has shown unwavering commitment to restore the dignity of labor in its workforce by the prompt payment of salaries, the prompt payment of pensions, and recently the approval of the payment of 3,851,763,617.65 naira as gratuities owed in the last 25 years between 1996 and 2021. The process has also commenced, and as we speak, 300 pensioners have received full benefits of their gratuities. My office has also received approval for the production of electronic identification cards for 8,727 civil and public servants and 2,851 pensioners. This is aimed at supporting identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability of the workforce. The process leading to its distribution is also in progress. There's renewed facilitation of home renovation loans from the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to interested civil and public servants. The process is seamless, and our civil servants are able to procure loans to the tune of 1 million naira to be paid over 3 years. There's also increased workers' effectiveness through constant monitoring of attendance to work by a standing committee. We have the Vanguard on Attitudinal Change, who go around to ensure cleanliness of the environments in the state secretariats and also to ensure attendance to work. We have prompt and effective processing of benefits and entitlements of civil and public servants serving and retired. There are no more delays in effecting the necessary changes and the necessary needs of files. So far, this office has facilitated a harmonious relationship with the labor centers of the TUC, the Trade Union Congress, the NLC, which is poised to realize the visions of the People's Charter of Needs concept of His Excellency, the Governor. The only issues are those inherited by the union's dissatisfaction at the federal level. We are hoping that the sins of the father will not be visited on the sons. So finally, Your Excellency and people of Ebonyi, the Office of the Head of Service is quite appreciative of these privileges given to her by Your Excellency, the Governor, to serve in this capacity. We sincerely thank His Excellency for always giving ears and a favorable consideration to the unending needs of our workforce. The entirety of Ebonyi State workers are happy already and assure him of continued loyalty and support. Just like the Oliver Twist of Charles Dickens literature, however, we are still expectant of better days ahead. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you, Ebonyi workers. Thank you, Ndi Ebonyi. May God bless us all.
That was the voice of the head of service of Ebonyi State. Please, a better round of applause for that beautiful presentation. Head of service, thank you very much, ma'am. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, we would like to also inform you that at the end of all the presentations, we'll be giving the public the opportunity to seek clarifications. In case you want to make contribution, you can use the phone line 080-3938-4502. I take that again, 080-3938-4502. At this point, I would like to invite our next presenter, who is young but experienced. May I invite Honorable Commissioner for Works and Transport, Ebonyi State, Engineer Stanley Lebechi Mbam. You are most welcome.
His Excellency, the Governor of Ebonyi State, the father of people's need, the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Richard Obila, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Through His Excellency, the Governor of Ebonyi State, Omo Frepewan of Ebonyi. My ministry is a practical ministry. It's not a theory. It's talk and do ministry. As they play, they show. This is 152 days in the administration of His Excellency. And I can tell you, if you go to the street, you will see the torches. You will see Oma touching the street. We have implement an ongoing project, and some of all these projects will be commissioned shortly. If you go to Agro Farm, you will see 1.3 kilometer road, rigid pavement, solid, and is all going there. If you go to Alo Street, you will see how the road was bad. But you can go there, you will see the touches, courtesy of Onwo Frepe. If you go to my 15 layout, you will see 4.5 kilometer road, dualized with street lights, drainage, courtesy of Onwo Frepe. If you go to Emo4 Street, if you go to Obiri Street, if you go to some of the streets in the town, you will see the touches of Onwo Frepe. That is just the preamble of it. We have about 15 slots of project, which is ongoing now. And we have, this project is all about approximately, we'll be looking up to 200 and something kilometers. We have the one of Ezego to Ezulo, that is 21.825 kilometers. We have rehabilitation of Obaga Road, which is 23 kilometers. We have Overditch, that is about 12.825 kilometers. Let me tell you one thing about this. These projects are going to be completed within 8 months. 8 months. And these projects have been awarded to a well-qualified contractors. And the good thing about this contractor was not just that we picked them. It was through e-procurement. You can see Ebonyi State have gone to a digital award of projects. If you know part of this, you will know how we open our bid and you see how it goes successful. Now in the transport sector of it, the Ministry of Works and Transport are developing and implementing enforcement of traffic. This is to enable safety in the capital city. Now we are engaging the stakeholders to implement and also regulate into this enforcement. Now, the Ministry of Works and Transport and the financial management, we have we have demonstrated and implement a transparent budgeting and provisions and placing and portioning of this budget into a transparency firm. Therefore, the Ministry of Works and Transport, we are looking at the construction, all the road that we are going to implement and construct this administration. I tell you, 50 years guarantee. 50 years guarantee. And His Excellency is ready and is ever ready and is ever ready to implement this project. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And God bless you, Ebonyi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Works and Transport, Engineer Stanley Mbam. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Your Excellency.
Well, distinguished leaders of our great state, that is why I like engineers. They speak more practical than theory. And you know, our people have been brainwashed, and when you hear someone or listen to someone that speaks more practical, sometimes you may not know the value. When the commissioner started talking, he said that we have about 15 lots of jobs that have been published, and the Public Procurement Council has done justice to that by awarding it to very reputable contractors. Good and fine. The question would have been, can you be able to tell us these roads, how we get it up to 15 lots? So that is the area I want to explain, because as a governor, I oversee all the ministries. And there is nothing to say that I don't know. Let me take 5 minutes to explain what he meant. And when the Commissioner for Justice spoke, he spoke very eloquently well. But I want to tell you people that the 13 knowledge he said he filed and has obtained in the court is not on much criminal cases that is against individuals. Many of these cases were against the state. We know all the criminal cases are against the state. But these ones are minor criminal cases, some not the truth that was presented before the authority. And that is why he decided to file those cases. Because Constitution gave him power to file, to take over, to prosecute, and to file the nolle. But Constitution did not say to him to file it when the case is against the state. And that he did. And I want to assure you that what he did is right, and it's not against any individuals. There's a laid-down procedure in this state. Even if the states have interest in a case, the parties must be part of that case. And that is why Commissioner decided to move from the destructive to restorative system of restorative system of judicial process. And I want to assure you that I am part and parcel of those that initiated the multi-door courthouse. And the CJ is here. He's a very good man. In so many occasions, in so many states, many CJs refuse to adhere to that, to agree with the public. But that is the modern way of resolving issues. This saves money. It saves time. People cannot see it as if you take him to court or you take him to police. It's the modest way of resolving issues. When he talked about conciliation, negotiation, and mediation, when he talked about conciliation, it's just the parties will sit down and be talking, while the person that is in charge will be listening and give them the leeway. Once he makes his remark, he will listen to the parties themselves, and the parties can sort out their issues. And he will enter it. Sometimes he sends it to court for implementation, and that becomes the judgment of the court. The same way it happens in mediation, and the same way it happens in negotiation. Look, what takes us to court is all about disagreement. Sometimes it may not be the fact that take us to court. It may be some other small issues that causes the disagreement that takes us to court. And that is the essence of believing that implementation of multi-door-court, establishing multi-door-court house in Ebonyi is necessary. And the former administration decided to sign the law because we did the law in the House of Assembly and we sent it to the governor then. He signed it. And having been assented to, he left the implementation. And that is what we are doing now. Then to the Ministry of Works, from Ogubara Junction to Oferekpe is 42-kilometer road. That's why I said commissioner would have been more practical. That wasn't mentioned. That road generates a lot of revenue for the state because all the sand, both private and public use here in Ebonyi, comes from that area. Almost 90% of the sand for buildings comes from that area. And the road is a federal road, but it's totally dilapidated. It's in a very deplorable shape today. And I don't think anybody can apply that road now to Oferekpe water scheme. And that is the essence, because we build a water scheme there. There's another electricity project that is coming on there, which I think is owned by TCN and private sectors. It's also coming in that area too. So the road becomes very necessary that we do it. And that is why we decided to embark on it for contractors, because we want to complete it at time, on a time that we make use of it. Even if you borrow money and also enjoy the benefit and the value of the money. And that is the essence of decided to divide the load into 4 lots. And the 4 lots have been awarded to very reputable contractors. We hope that the contractors, with their credentials made available to the government and to the public procurement that did the award, that they will give us what we want. Then Head of Service said that we have agreed to employ 1,454. That is only for the executive. The judiciary are doing their own implementation of employment. I think they have up to 150 they are employing. And House of Assembly, if there is vacancies, we also do the same. So I am not, the executive are not the one employing for the judiciary. They are also not the one employing for the legislatures. They are all autonomous. Since 2018, the House of Assembly and the judiciary became autonomous. We started the implementation the same 2018. So let me sincerely thank the 3 ministries for dividends of democracy they've been able to show to our people and strength, but also to urge you to know that Ministry of Works and Ministry of Infrastructure is more practical than theory, and we shouldn't look at their, I also said it at the national television. When you listen to people, don't look at their language, because this borrowing language that we borrowed and believe that is more needed in our own society, in our own home, than our own mother's tongue is not right. And I disbelieve on that. I am dissatisfied 100%. I believe that we should do much in introducing our language in our profession and teach our people in that language. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. But I think that applause is too weak for His Excellency. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You are very fast. We have been enjoying the benefit of electing you. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation will come from Honorable Commissioner for Capital Development, Human Capital Development and Monitoring, Honorable Mrs. Anne Aligwe.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Right Honorable Builder Francis Ogbonnanwihuru, Onwa Oferekpe. Your Excellency, the first female Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, Princess Mrs. Patricia Obila, the SLG, the Chief of Staff, the Chief Judge here, and the President of the Customary Court of Appeal, the Speaker, may I stand on already existing protocol. In His Excellency's manifesto, he mentioned while we were campaigning that he will focus on human capital development and monitoring, and he will deal on stomach infrastructure. His Excellency didn't stop at that. Immediately after the inauguration on the May 29th, he motivated my ministry, which is the mother ministry, to take care of the poor, the less privileged, and the vulnerable ones in Ebonyi State, and make sure that the welfare of Ebonyians are taken care of. We started with feeding the people with food items and relief materials to people who were affected by fuel disaster, fuel subsidy disaster, economic disaster, flood disaster, and so many other disasters. We didn't stop at that. After that one, we flagged off the distribution of debit cards and cash, which we flagged off from the 2nd of August, and we continued disbursement of cash from one local government to another local government across the 13 local government areas from the 2nd of August to 26th of September 2023. His Excellency, our dear Governor, is a welfare and a humanitarian governor. He moved out and said that Ebonyi civil servants must get a difference. And he approved 10,000 naira increase in Ebonyi civil servant salary. He was the first to do that in the whole country. The head of service didn't remember to put that one. His Excellency didn't stop at that. He approved 1 billion naira for 500 Ebonyi youths under the youth empowerment, where our youths who are in Lagos, Abuja, Onitsha, and different cities, hawking, they will be given 2 million naira each. Within the next 1 week, they have been profiled. His Excellency also approved 50 million naira, where people with small businesses, we are empowering them with 50,000 and 100,000 naira and above. His Excellency, our dear Governor, under the Ministry of Human Capital, has attracted NCC gadgets, which we have mounted in the international market for easy networking and transfers. No more, if you go to market, you will say that the network is not working. Based on that, you cannot do transactions. Since last week, the traders in Ebonyi State can manifest to that effect that it has been implemented. And then also, under the human capital development, His Excellency attracted a special package from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, where about 64,000 Ebonians will be empowered from next week. People will get food items, relief items, home items, even grinding machines, things that we use to establish different businesses. His Excellency, our dear Governor, under the Ministry of Human Capital Development and Monitoring, went ahead to attract the e-library system, which with effect from 2nd week of November, across the universities, we will now have e-libraries, so that wherever you are, you will always access your handouts, your notes, your lectures in Ebonyi State. You know, under human capital development, we cut across different ministries. Under human capital development, you are supposed to take care of the people, both under education, both in health, both in their agriculture. So that's why it's like we are touching so many areas. His Excellency, our dear Governor, also attracted CBT jam centers across the 13 local government areas in Ebonyi State. very soon there will be job CBT centers in all the local government areas so that you don't need to travel far and wide to go and take your JAMB exams. Under Human Capital Development and Monitoring, we also have payments that His Excellency for the health and welfare has paid for kidney transplant for more than 4 Ebonyians at the cost of 15 million naira each. And again, under the Human Capital Development, His Excellency has attracted 3 IDP centers that will be built and furnished across the 3 senatorial zones in Ebonyi State, so that people who were affected by any communal crisis will have a shelter. We call it a one-stop shelter. In that one-stop shelter, it will be furnished. They will have their schools, markets, everything will be there for them for easy accessibility. His Excellency, under our ministry, has gone to the grassroots for community project development. We are training 72 communities who will benefit from World Bank project committees. There will be project beneficiaries. We are going to build some health centers, some schools, mini markets for them across the 72 communities in Ebonyi State. And we started the training yesterday, which was flagged off by our dear SSG of the state, where we trained 30 people across the 31 communities. We have so many things going on in the Ministry of Human Capital Development, and His Excellency has also revived the school feeding program. From next week, we are going to visit all the schools in Ebonyi State to find out how they've been taking care of our children in the school feeding program of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Modern General in charge of Modern Ministry, can we put our hands together for the Honorable Commissioner for Human Capital Development and Monitoring? Your Excellency.
Distinguished Ebonians, I think you people did not allow my sister and my mother to explain what she wants to explain to you. And you need to hear it because this is part of our manifesto. In our manifesto, we state it very clear that we'll be having town hall meetings to explain to Ebonians what we've been able to put in place within some time. Now, what she meant by saying that we are giving His Excellency approved 1 billion, it's just the ESCO approved, although chaired by the governor. What she meant clearly is that our intention earlier was to give this money to those living outside Ebonyi that is hawking. But there's a lot of hawkers here in Ebonyi that also said, no, we are part of them. Is it because we are in Ebonyi? We're also hawking here in Ebonyi. So we must benefit. And it's at that premise that the whole ESCO now agreed that since we have it in 3 segments, and the first phase is to give 1 billion, the second phase 1 billion, and the third phase 1 billion at the interval of 4 months. Now, this, as far as I'm concerned, based on the chairman, because we ESCO set up a committee chaired by the Commissioner for Trade and Investment. And Commissioner for Trade and Investment, I said, no ESCO member will contribute 1 name there. No government officials, including the governor, will nominate 1 person to benefit from that. If you want your uncles, your cousins, your brothers and sisters that are hawking to stop hawking, and you have the opportunity of being the government officials like the commissioners, the SSS, you have the capacity to pull him out of that. It's the same thing with the employment we talked about. That's why I said it's clear that ESCO had made a lot of sacrifices. In the employment, we agreed in ESCO that no ESCO member will call the Chairman Civil Service Commission to give her name. We should give opportunity for the poor of the poor. Those that got admission in year 2000, and by the special grace of God, they graduated in 2004. And since 2004 to date, 19 good years, are still carrying files. Going from one place to another, seeking for opportunity to serve, should be given opportunity to serve. That is what we said. And some people also introduced that, look, the Chairman Civil Service Commission talks about those that have certificates and those that have statement of results. And the Chairman Civil Service told us clearly that 17,552 applied with statement of results. 5,300 and some fractions applied with certificates. And for her to be at the safe side, and to get the genuine ones without passing a lot of hurdles, she decided to toe the line of taking those that have certificates. Since what she needs is less than 2,000, and 17,000 plus applied, and 5,000 plus have certificates. So, ESCO look at it in both ways. Those that couldn't have the money to get their certificates may be poor. And that's why they couldn't get their certificate. But those that have money and they have their certificate, they may be rich. Some say they may also be poor. They struggle to get their certificate because they deem it necessary that they need their certificate. And it's at that point that we said, okay, to help this woman to survive, there is no place in this state that can accommodate 17,000 to write exam, both orally and written. There is no place that can accommodate 17,000. But if it's okay, let's write this in phases. We can at least agree with 5,000. It's at that point that ESCO now says, okay, let us go with the Chairman Civil Service Commission and his commissioners. Since this is what they agreed, and they are the ones that saddled with the responsibility of employment. Let us not dabble into their affairs, but we should listen to them and hear to them and also agree with their procedure. But it's left for the Ebonyians to decide, because that is why our manifesto is People's Charter of Need. It's left for Ebonyians to decide today here, and we agreed on that. So the same thing is happening with this sharing of 1 billion, which is 2 million naira per individuals or per person. We agreed that yes, 1 million is okay, but somebody you want to pull out from street, how will he get a shop and also get money to put a goods in that shop? It's at that point that we now say, okay, let us do 2 million, so that the person can get a shop and get money. After payment of the shop, he can still have money to buy goods and put inside the shop. And the person can now change. With the little money he have in hawking, he made in hawking, definitely we join it and they do this. Then there's some people that we must pull out to come to Abakaliki and re-engineer them. Because there's a lot of people you can see in Onitsha, in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Aba, that their heads are no more in a situation that they can do anything. So you need to take them back and start training them. Give them skill, because they don't have skill again. So you need to give them skill and let them understand that, yes, they can still do something with their hand. So we also have provisions for those people. And that is why we built the vocational center, which is well equipped. It's there at the Centenary City. The Commissioner for Skill development and job creation is doing very exceedingly well as far as I'm concerned in taking inventory of what we needed to get, and we start calling them back. Some will go to Onitsha to arrest, some will go to Lagos to arrest, because they are ashamed of coming back willingly. So they need government to come and arrest them, to bring them back. So we will do that. We will do that. Then she talked about the industry money. There is a standing rules. The Ebonyi State were doing 10 million every year to all the small, medium enterprises. So, in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, that is outside what we are doing with the agency. Then the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry approached ESCO that he wants us to increase that 10 million naira to 15 million because a lot of people have applied. This money is given to people at the international market and other markets here in Ebonyi. So, and the ESCO approved the 15 million and released the 15 million to the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry. The modality of sharing is of no other person's concern except the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry. But it's of the concern of the state. So anybody that has the interest of getting that money should meet the commissioner. He shouldn't meet the governor, because the governor don't have the time to dwell on that or to talk about it. Then what is more important than education is what I don't know. Many of us have been convinced in a way that we believe education can do everything. So, and that is why we venture in the e-library. Let me tell you, your power is the ability to research and get the enabling results. The result that can put food on your table. That is your power. If you're a human being and you call yourself a graduate, and it doesn't have the skill to develop new innovation, to establish yourself, then you are not a graduate. You haven't graduated. You graduated from speaking your mother's tongue to speaking another person's mother's tongue. That is what you graduated. And for me, if you are not a graduate and you didn't graduate from being poor to developing yourself to the extent of producing anything, then you have not graduated as far as I'm concerned. So, when I traveled to UK to do my master's, I found out that you can sit down in your house and research and do whatever thing you want to do. These are the things they did based on the ability to go wide. And how do we get to that? Everywhere you get to at the university, you can sit down in your house. You can sit down in your house to write your project, to do your dissertations, to write your thesis, submit your thesis. They will go through it. The Turnitin is there to sieve out what you borrowed without references. There's no provisions for a slight plagiarisms are not giving opportunity to thrive. So, and that is the essence of us saying it's good for us to venture into e-library so that our people will have the opportunity of researching. They will have the opportunity of getting exactly what they need without spending much money. And the Commissioner for ICT, I don't know why he's not part of those that are speaking, because if he's speaking, he's supposed to tell the world or the state exactly what he's doing, because we decided to empower our institutions to have internet 100%, 24 hours. Once you're a student and you get to Ebonyi State University, for example, immediately you get to Ebonyi State University with your age number, you can log in to the internet and browse and do whatever thing you want to do. You don't need to buy data. You don't need to pay for service. You don't need to go to any library. You don't even need to go to a school library to get what you want. You can use your laptop, your phone to get what you want. That's Ebonyi State government have been able to pay to MTN 100 million. So, in order to make it work, because there's no way we agree to be graduating nuisance. We refuse to agree to do that. If we are graduating you, we must know what you have been made of. So if you're a graduate of Ebonyi State University, we expect your ultimate value to be what everybody will be proud of. And any place you explain or you introduce yourself, people will get up and say, yes, this is a product of Ebonyi State University. So these are the things my sister and my wife and my mother wanted to explain to you people clearly, and you refused to listen to her. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, because of time, we are reducing the presentation to 5 minutes. And I want to very humbly invite our revered professor, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Professor Amare Omaka Chukwese, and Honorable Commissioner for Tertiary Education, to please come forward and address us. You are most welcome, sir.
Original time, over 5 minutes. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of our dear state, Right Honorable Francis Obonda-Nwifuru, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of our state, Her Excellency, Princess Onyembechi Obela, not Obela. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to stand on the already very well-established protocol by His Excellency, our dear Governor. I have been given very short time to speak to what His Excellency have achieved in the education sector. And like most of us already know, in the People's Charter of Need, education forms number 1 in his agenda, and that is why he has spared no rod to ensure that we get the best in that sector. In the first place, His Excellency, knowing the challenges we are facing in our own dear state university, Ebonyi State University, we have problem of paying salaries and so many infrastructural deficits. First, within a few days of assumption of office, through the ministry, increased the subvention of our university from 150 million to 200 million every month. In the same vein, he released funds to clear the arrears of salaries that were being owed to staff of the university immediately after assumption of office. And as if that was not enough, the university was owing the staff 8 months, 20% cut-off over the incident of COVID-19. He released funds that assisted the university to clear the 8 months arrears of 20% cut-off in COVID-19, and to facilitate other intervention challenges, he released 300 million to the university for them to tackle some of the challenges they are facing. And as we speak, he also increased the subvention of Ebonyi State College of Education, IKO, from 50 million to 65 million to enable them handle the salaries and running costs of the university, of the college. And he has also put machinery in motion. I'm a member of a committee to ensure that the college is upgraded to a degree awarding institution, because some of the challenges we are facing there is that the capacity, the strength of the university is falling because of the NCE they are awarding. So this time, His Excellency has put machinery in motion to ensure that the university is upgraded to a specialized university and also handle the issue of NCE program. His Excellency has also put machinery in motion to establish 2 brand new specialist universities, the University of Information and Communication Technology and the University of Aeronautic Engineering. And as we speak, the ground for the establishment of University of ICT at Oferekba is ongoing. The site is being cleared. And His Excellency has also put machinery in motion to upgrade the School of Nursing at Uburu and the School of Health at Ezambo. And then also to upgrade our institution, tertiary institutions in the state. His Excellency sent 6-man team to go to Rwanda. The essence is to go and study what they are doing there to upgrade our educational institutions in the state.
And that is not ending in Kigali. He has also put machinery in motion to ensure that our team also goes to different universities, not only in Rwanda, but in the European Union and also in the United Kingdom. And due to the menace of conveniences in our institutions, has approved that every tertiary institution in the state, particularly the state-owned institutions, are going to establish a modern toilet system where the public, the students can easily access places they can ease themselves across all the campus of the university. And has also paid bursary awards to deserving students in Nigerian law school, or Ebonyans in Nigerian law schools, and has granted scholarship to deserving Ebonyans to study abroad, the latest of which was 11 million naira scholarship grant given to Mr. Collins, able to go to the College of Medicine to study to do a master's program at the University of East London. And they are flagging papers on me. I won't conclude this without mentioning that the governor that we have here, the workaholic governor, has provided an enabling environment and the political will for Ebonyi State Commissioner for Tertiary Education to emerge as the interim chairman of Commissioners of Education at the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And His Excellency has already mentioned some of the things he's doing concerning ICT in our institutions. On this note, I want to thank the members of the press, all Ebonyans and Nigerians for this opportunity to interface with you. May it please you.
You know, professors use every opportunity to deliver lectures. Can you give me a resounding applause? Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Tertiary Education. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation will come from Honorable Commissioner for Housing. He is no other person than Engineer Francis Ori.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Your Excellency, may I once again thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in this administration with the People Charters of Need as a mission policy statement. Your Excellency, I'm also lucky to, among other ministries and commissioners, to be the first to receive the ESCO approval. I'm very grateful, Your Excellency. That gave us the opportunity to roll our drums. Your Excellency, you directed that we commence immediately the resettlement program of our people who are affected by communal crisis and capital city development through housing estate developments. Your Excellency, we started immediately, and today we can stand boldly to say that that program has started. Few days ago, Ebonyans and indeed the world witnessed the flagging of the construction of 140 units of 3-bedroom bungalow for the people of Ameze and Izo autonomous communities. Your Excellency, as I speak now, contractors are on site and work is in progress. Your Excellency, this housing estate has a sister project as well. The good people of Izi and Abakaliki local governments have their own share of this project. 140 units of 3-bedroom bungalows to be sited beside or at the back of Centenary City for the displaced people of Izi and Abakaliki local government. Your Excellency, also worthy to note is that you gave us the opportunity to discuss with our ward. Your Excellency, we have had a series of meetings with both local and international estate developers. And in no due time, not distant time, Your Excellency, we will start implementing our discussions and resolutions. Your Excellency, may I also thank you for these people-oriented projects. One thing is to have a project. The other thing is to side project that will really impact in the life of the people. Your Excellency, the project we started at Izo and Amese is one that will go a long way in healing our people from the long suffering. Thank you, and God bless you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Housing. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to very humbly at this point invite Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources, Honorable Magnus Chinedum Onka.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, Right Honorable Ebonyi Anwifuru, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, the Honorable Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Odonwa, and my Lord, the Chief Judge. My mandate is to briefly speak on another sector where His Excellency is doing more practical than theory. And I'm talking about the water sector. First of all, we've been able to carry out a holistic problem of the whole water sectors we have in Ebonyi State. And we've been able, as we're talking now, to fix the Ezilo water scheme. All the challenges we had in the Ezilo water scheme, ranging from replacement of the infrastructure that was vandalized, providing security to the scheme, repairs to the low and high lift, and also connecting the scheme to the national grid. We've been able to fix the major leakages along the main supply line from Ezilo to the urban to Abakaliki capital city. We've been able to fix the pipes that were destroyed as a result of construction, either by government or individuals who felt there was no need for these pipes because water was not running there. So today, we have provided water to the capital city. And we are going beyond that. Our working schedule is that we are taking these things step by step. We are not embarking on the whole water projects at a time. Very soon, we shall rehabilitate the old Abakaliki water scheme to ensure that the areas that are not covered by the Ezilo water scheme are covered by the old Abakaliki scheme. However, we are restructuring our schedule, which we earlier advertised, to ensure that it is less cost-effective. Rather than going to fix the low lift, we will now continue to generate water from Ezilo water scheme because we have enough water through the effective repairs of our booster stations, and then take them up to the hill and distribute by gravity to all other corners that are not currently covered. So areas like Azugu, Kaz, Ochudo City, the new stadium, the new government house, the new layouts, all the areas that do not have pipe currently is where what we are going to face. So our scheme at Ezilo is good to go now. We are not leaving out our communities. The Shagu water scheme, we have done a holistic assessment of what is remaining, and we will present them to ESCO. The good people of Izi local government will also be provided with water through the completion of the reservoir and then circulating water to the people. A lot of questions have been asked to me about the Oferebe water scheme. We are not leaving that out at all. We are not leaving that at all. Once we saturate the urban with water, we are moving next to the Oferebe water scheme. And we are very mindful of the communities along the main supply line, from Ezilo to Abakaliki, that they do not have water. It is in our plan that we are going to give them water. All the communities along the line. We've been able to secure the infrastructure there because one of the major challenges I discovered when I came on board was that the billions that were invested in our water schemes were not protected. There was no security. So we've been able to provide that security at these schemes, including Oferebe water scheme. The good news, however, is that the issue of water is a practical reality. And we ask that you be patient with us and also report to us where you see water leakages. We have structured our system in such a way that within 20 minutes, you see our team on the ground to effect those repairs. And I'm telling you, with the speed we are going, by this time next year, you'll be able to call your parents in the village and tell them to on their taps in Jesus' name. Thank you, Your Excellency, for believing that water is life. Thank you, the good people of Ebonyi State.
Thank you very much. That was a message from a man who does not have enemy because water does not have enemy. A round of applause once again to him. At this point, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to at this point invite our dear sister, who is the Commissioner in charge of Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Princess Nkechinyere Iyoko. You are most welcome, ma'am.
Your Excellency, our God-given governor, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, please, for the want of time, let me stand on the already established protocol. Immediately after our inauguration, we hit the ground running. I want to thank His Excellency, and I want to thank God first for giving us a great farmer as a governor this time around. And he said under his watch that Ebonyi farmers will be smiling. He didn't waste time. He approved the sum of 100 million naira as counterpart fund for IFAD. You people know that IFAD is doing very well in Ebonyi State. They are working in 8 local governments, and they are investing over 1 billion naira in Ebonyi State. His Excellency didn't waste time. He approved the distribution of 13,000 bags of fertilizer to all the genuine and real farmers in Ebonyi State. And we have distributed it to the farmers. And the farmers are very happy. Your Excellency, thank you so much. Your Excellency, I want to let Ebonyans know that we have revived Ebonyi State Fertilizer Company. It's working now. We reopened the Ebonyi State Fertilizer Company on 17th July 2023, and since then, our commercial activities have started. We are doing very well. We produce all kinds of fertilizer, different kinds of fertilizer there. NPK, urea, etc. We are doing very well in that place. And we want to use this opportunity to tell our people, Nigerians, everybody that is watching us, that they should patronize us. And the federal government too, let them be patronizing us because we are the best in Southeast. And it was only last week somebody from Plateau State called me and said that they will be buying from us because we have one of the best fertilizers in Ebonyi State. Your Excellency, in the rice production, Your Excellency, we are having some challenges because if we continue to produce, to be farming only
in wet season. There's no way we will meet up with KB, Taraba, Benue, etc. And we have to think outside the box. And His Excellency approved that I should go to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. I went there, we applied, we told them that Ebonyi want to start dry season farming or irrigation farming. And they say Ebonyi is doing very well in agriculture. And they approved that they will give us equipment that will start our dry season farming and irrigation so that we will compete with other states like KB. Apart from that, I've been discussing with my colleague in KB, that is the Commissioner for Agriculture, and we have taken some steps. And very soon, we are in practical agriculture this time around. And very soon, Ebonyians will be seeing what we are doing. Another thing, we want to say that Ebonyians, let us go to the roots. Farming is a very lucrative business. If a governor can be doing his work and be doing his farm work, a medical doctor can be doing his work and be a farmer too, even civil servants, let us go to our roots. Because this government, they came prepared, and by the grace of God, Ebonyians will be first in rice production, in yam production, and cassava production. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture. Your Excellency, I would like to invite at this point Honorable Commissioner in charge of Ministry of Infrastructure, Engineer Obonaya Obasi Abara, to please come forward.
Thank you. Your Excellency, our dear Governor, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to leverage on an already established protocol. In Ministry of Infrastructure, we have completed earthworks on the 2-kilometer of Ofurekpe-Nyimago Ovurechi Market Road, and is ready for concrete pavement. We have also completed earthworks on the 600-meter road at Tomo-Ogara, leading to the injection substation that will give us power from there to our international airport. We have completed the design of the following projects advertised presently for award on contract. The 3.8-kilometer road in Ezza South, which we call Ugochima Road, 2-kilometer Obuenyi Ndibe Beach Road project in Afikpo, 1.8-kilometer road in Unwana, including Ayodele Junction to Erei Road, Akanebiam Roundabout, Oyoyo Junction to President Church in Unwana. The extension of the concrete pavement along Akanebiam to Ido Junction. Also advertised is the 13.48-kilometer Oriuzo Onweke Road in Ezza North and South local government areas. The 2.6-kilometer Amankwo Amelu Ogibe Road with 2 spurs in Afikpo. Work has also started on the 600 meters Legacy FM Road. We have also pre-qualified contractors to design the 2-kilometer roads promised by His Excellency to the various communities. By next week, they will start work, and I wish to request our various communities to cooperate with these consultants as they visit you to take statistics of these roads and design them for award on contract. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Infrastructure, Engineer Barra. At this point, Your Excellency, I would like to invite the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Development and Sports, Honorable Chief Richard Ugo Idike.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Chief Right Honorable Francis Ogbonnanwifu, the Deputy Governor, the Speaker of the most peaceful House of Assembly, the Chief Judge, Let me stand on the already established protocol by the Chief Press Secretary. Achievement of the Executive Governor, Right Honorable Builder Francis Ogbonna Nwifuru, in the area of youth and sports development in the first 152 days. The Ministry of Youth Development and Sports is charged with the responsibility of policy formulation and implementation of youth and sports development program at the grassroots. The ministry also supervises the activities of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, the State Sports Council, and the National Youth Service Corps. The major achievement of the Executive Governor, Francis Ogbonna Nwifuru, in the youth and sports sector in the first 152 days of his administration can be highlighted as follows. His Excellency, the Executive Governor, graciously approved meal subsidy for corps members during their orientation camp programs. Such approval has not been possible in past years. The governor also approved monthly subvention to the National Youth Service Corps to help facilitate their day-to-day administrations and other logistics. His Excellency has also approved allocation of office residential accommodation for the State Coordinator, NYSC. The Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, through the magnanimity of the governor, organized a monthly-long interlocal government cup football competition. At the end of the football fiesta, 60 players was selected who shall form the nucleus of the anticipated state football club. The ministry also secured His Excellency's approval for the Ebonyi State participation at the just concluded 7th National Youth Game tagged Asaba 2023, where Ebonyi secured 2 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze. Pangele Orita Stadium has been given a facelift, courtesy of His Excellency approval. The Ministry of Youth Development and Sports attracted a friendly football match which featured Rangers International Football Club held at Pangele Orita Township Stadium, Abakaliki. Activities that are yet to offload. School sports that His Excellency has directed the ministry to come up with a memo to organize it. Football school academy, where youths are trained in the field of sports for representation both national and outside the country. His Excellency has graciously approved the formation of state football team, which the process has started at the national level. His Excellency have also approved the National Youth Council Nigeria, the Congress Unity election within the 13 local governments. The Honorable Commissioner and the entire staff of the ministry are entirely grateful to His Excellency, the Executive Governor, for graciously approved aims for gracious approvals aimed to reposition youth and sports development in Ebonyi State, accord on people's character and needs. I thank Ebonyans for their continuous prayers for the success of the administration. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Hello. At this point, we'll be inviting His Excellency for a few remarks. Your Excellency, sir.
Distinguished leaders of our great state, our dear great servants of our dear states, the honorable commissioners, let me sincerely thank those that of explaining to our people what they've been able to do in their various ministries. A lot of ministries couldn't have the opportunity because of time and because of other engagement. But I want to dwell more on the area of industry. I don't know why the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry are not here. He's supposed to be at this stage to explain to Ebonyans, because it's part of what we emphatically stated, or clearly stated in our manifesto. So let me speak on his behalf. Honorable Commissioner, I can sit down. Let me speak on his behalf because of time. We had the opportunity of having pipe industry that was working. Can you give me a year, please? And unfortunately, we had a management issue, and that pipe industry were totally vandalized. We lost the security agency and the one neighborhood watch at that arena in order to secure the place. The hoodlums decided to take their life, and we lost them. So, but when we came in, we decided to procure the brand new machine to start that pipe industry again. The issue of repiping and also give it the facelift, I think as far as I'm concerned, it has been done 100%. And what we are waiting for now is for the new machine to come in. We had paid for it 100%, and we have also energized the industry 100%. And the industry is working. We also look at our own building material industry. When you look at that place, it's like, we can call it, sometimes we say it's a dustbin because it's more than, we don't know what we can say it is. It's not totally dilapidated, it's not moribund, but we can say it's dustbin. And it's people's land that was taken to build that edifice. And people made sacrifices by relegating that land, expecting a lot of things. But the government decided not to make use of the land. And they built a very befitting edifice there. Unfortunately, the industry was not, since the creation of Ebonyi State, has never worked. So we promise that when we come in, we will not only rehabilitate the industry, but we will make the industry the point of contact when you are coming to this state. And by the special grace of God, the Procurement Council had done justice in so many areas of purchasing equipment. I don't know who is the contractor, but some other equipment that the Ministry of Commerce and Industry are taking care of, that is already paid and is ongoing. So, generally, on the issue of subsidy removal, because the Commissioner for Human Capital Development talked about that, I said it clearly that it's only Mr. President that paid the supreme price by having the capacity and decided to take that menace that almost destroyed this country, cost fuel subsidy. This is not for the benefit of the poor. It's the rich that continue getting rich. The hoodlums, practical known hoodlums of this country, will continue getting the resources of this country in a very way that this country we are almost getting into clearly on loan. And let me not use the word that the press can ask questions. Let me just say loan. But I want to tell you, if there is first subsidy, the person that will benefit most is the president. Because the marketers will be visiting him. And the marketers will be visiting so many other government officials. So when Mr. President take off first subsidy, he's the first person that paid the price. The price he's paying is heavier and more than what anybody can suffer. That is what Nigerians didn't know. Look at the federation account. What we were sharing, what states we were getting before the president, Tinubu. People should know that. 600 billion. Today, the government shared, the 3 tiers of government shared 1.1 trillion. And government started having opportunity of saving money. The Nigerian government were going clearly into bankrupt. So if people come out and say they remove first subsidy and it's giving us hardship, it's giving us hardship. My brother, is the engineers of that menace, the stakeholders in that industry, they are the one that is causing our downfall. And they're the one that is engineering this crisis. They're the one that is going house to house, place to place to say that we are suffering, you are suffering. We know the genesis, and we know the trouble Nigerians are passing through. But you can't compare this trouble that is temporal to what we were into. If Buhari didn't, if Tinubu on his own didn't conceive the idea of removing first subsidy, by now, states wouldn't have been having, this nation wouldn't have been having 20 kobo to share at the federal allocation. We're almost borrowing to share. And tell me a country, even your company, tell me a company that's developed. So many of you here have your personal industries. So many of you have your personal companies. How can your company develop when you're living on borrowing? You can't develop. But today we had the opportunity of saving money. You must suffer to get it right. You must be focused. You must know what you want. Mr. President has shown us that he knows why he wants to be president. He's not here to make money. If he's here to make money, first subsidy would have been there. He wouldn't have removed it. Many people couldn't conceive the idea. They couldn't gather the strength to remove it. It's because of the benefit to so many of them. And President decided to remove it and pay the price. The price is not only that Nigerians are castigating him, uninformed Nigerians are castigating him without knowing the truth. Because those that benefit from the industry are the one that is giving them and feeding them back negatively. So I want you to understand that. Then generally, let me sincerely thank the leaders and our great stakeholders and our youth for having patience and for believing in us. It is a thing of joy that we have the opportunity in presiding over the affair of our state, and we will not take it for granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, you are completely in charge. Please, a round of applause to His Excellency, our Governor. Thank you very much. At this point, Your Excellency, before we proceed, we will take few questions from the members of the 48th of the realm. We also take questions from our viewers. We also take questions from the audience right here. And in case you want to use our telephone line, you can dial 080-3938-4502. Facts will take from the journalist. Vice Chairman NUJ, please.
Your Excellency, my name is Ben Ngori. I report for this day. Your Excellency, before I ask my question, let me raise this concern from the general public. And it concerns the continuous barricade of Udensi roundabout by security agents. That act alone, the continuous barricade of Udensi roundabout and linking streets when it is 7 p.m. Your Excellency, that is affecting economic activities and nightlife. Your Excellency, when you were present, Your Excellency, the ovation is that you should direct accordingly. Yes, Your Excellency, when you were making your remarks, one would have ordinarily be curious to know what you inherited from the past administration in terms of debt or asset. So you tell us if we have money, are we rich? Thank you, sir.
Your Excellencies, my name is Ushen Naina. I report for New Telegraph newspaper. Question goes to Commissioner for Tertiary Education, our son. Before this administration came on board, there was a Jackpot syndrome in Ebonyi State University. That is migration of lecturers for greener pastures, which almost killed that institution that groomed people like us today. Now, His Excellency has come in and he put other measures in place by increasing the subvention of that school and clearing the workers' salaries there and the other measures he has put in place. Now, may we know whether those lecturers that left or the workers that left have returned, because there are measures there. Then, if they have not returned, is there anything the school is doing to replace them so that that school will return to its lost glory? Thank you.
Your Excellency, my name is Amechi Odo of Radio Nigeria. Sir, I want to appreciate you for your effort to reactivate moribund industries and other infrastructure that was here before we came on board, which was in comatose. But it's curious that many administrations have come and gone without looking at the International Trade Center at Presco Junction. What are you going to do with that International Trade Center, sir? The building that is uncompleted at the Presco Junction it has been abandoned by successive administrations. Are you going to pull it down, or what will happen to it? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Ta Okutu, and I work with Vanguard newspapers. My question is very simple. I listened to one of the commissioners talk about the government will establish more health centers. I was very shocked at that because health centers, as part of what this present administration will do, I was very shocked because some of us had gone around different local government areas and we discovered that there are lots of health centers that are not fully equipped, not functional, they're lacking staff, security, and so many things. For me, that's why I said, let me ask, which one is better? Building more health centers or making sure that the ones available are well equipped and functional? Thank you.
Your Excellency, my name is Felix Oka for Daily Independent Newspaper, sir. So one of your commissioners indicated that subsidy removal is a disaster. But you imputed that it's one of the best things. But from practical terms, wahala there. Now my question is, Your Excellency, sir. Your Excellency, you approved the sum of 13 billion naira for upgrade of the... Hello? Your Excellency, I said you approved the sum of 13 billion naira for upgrade of the runway of the Chuba Okadibo International Airport. That's a huge sum. Now the question, sir, particularly is, what plans have you for return on investment in that aspect? Because there are no flights regularly going on there. How do you recoup investment from there? And this is the biggest amount of money the government has approved. And it's, in fact, I learned you have started approval and releasing. Thank you very much.
Please, before we take another round of questions, we'll do justice to the questions raised. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much. Ben, let me start with Ben Wore. Continuous barricade at Udensi roundabouts. The essence of government is to safeguard life and property. And it's stated clearly in section 14 of our Constitution. And it is not in section 14 of the law of Ebonyi State. It's in section 14 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And whatever thing you do to safeguard life and property, worth it. You would have praised our security agencies, starting from the CP, the Cantonment Commander, and other paramilitary agencies for doing a very marvelous work in securing and combating crime in our dear state. That is what you, the media, ought to be doing as far as I'm concerned for now. The essence of barricades in so many areas, junctions. You recall last 2 months, we lost one of the security officers at the Union Bank Junction. And it's totally uncalled for. And you talk about the nightlife. The essence of police being at that junction is to safeguard the life of those that go to the real exclusive, to celebrate their lives and to entertain themselves. And that is the reason of putting police there. If not, we would have been losing a lot of great leaders of our dear state. Yes, as a government officials, you may not have the opportunity to enjoy yourself, especially when you get to the night like that, because of the fear of unknown. But we thought it wise. That's how to reduce people from invading to the individual homes inside the city, is to put a stringent condition for people to get inside the city. If you're a criminal and you know that you'll be sacked, you'll be put into thorough investigation before you get into the city, you will decide to think twice and you move the other way. The question you would have been asking yourself is, since this barricade is here, or since police started putting this barricade, have we been able to record security challenges within the town or inside the city or within that you then see about? These are the questions that you would have been posing to yourself. You should be posing those questions to yourselves and say, well, since this didn't happen, that means the essence of this is to secure the people of the state. Well, even me suffers it. Sometimes I take one rickety car in the night. I will not want police to know who is driving the car. I have to go and pass, instead of me to follow old government house, I have to go and pass inside Amikaba, come to the provincial school, move back to the St. John. From there, I connect to Waterworks to go to the government house, just to make sure that I did not meet police along the road. So, and I enjoy it because, why do I enjoy it? It gives me confidence, yes. Even you can be afraid of police delaying you or knowing that you are the one driving alone. So others should also learn that. And it also reduces many of us from going to night parties. Yes. So, why we cannot ask law enforcement agency to remove that barricade is because it's part of safeguarding the life and property of our dear people. Then, you talked, my brother talked about the migration of lecturers from FCU to FUNAIS and other institutions. I agree with you 100%. I will tell you one story, and this story is very brief. When I was in Faculty of Law as a student, Professor Omaka here went on sabbatical leave. His second, Onyebuchi, is from Ikwo, was taking us environmental law. And at the time of us getting into the lecture hall, Onyebuchi came in and announced to us that he's no more the lecturer in this faculty. He is now a lecturer in UNIZIC. And I got up as a speaker. And I said to Onyebuchi, what are you talking about? This school groom you and graduate you. And this school train you to be one of the best. So the prize the school campaign on is for you to live, because you have seen the greener pasture at the UNIZIC. I say I'm going to call Comrade Chinedoga, who gave you this appointment, to withdraw it. And he came to me and told me, look, this school has been sitting on my promotion. As I talk to you, I'm supposed to be associate professor. But even for them to recognize that I'm a PhD holder, for over 4 years, they are finding it difficult. And I say, what? He said, that is the situation. He brought everything and showed to me. And I find out that the lecturers actually suffering. They are passing a serious humiliation and intimidation from the management. And what is wrong? It's not encouraging too. It's for a lecturer to struggle to be a PhD holder. You know what he passed through to pass through thesis? It is not ordinary project that one person can ask you questions. It's thesis. It is not dissertation. It's thesis. That is the last research. You have gotten to the zenith of it. So if you come out to say something about that your profession, you ought to know it all, and you're supposed to know it all, and you strive to know it all. And having passed through those hurdles to get to the zenith, after getting the certificate, the university refused to recognize that certificate. You are not being encouraged. You must look for another place. And that's why I said number one is to give opportunity to all the lecturers, even those that ought to be professor. Give them their promotion. Why are you sitting on their promotion? The first thing they gain is promotion. There's nothing that a civil servant admired than promotion. So you can't sit on their promotion and still expect them to come and be teaching you or to maintain your alma mater and make it to look fine. My brother, that is why they decide to go. Now you say to the commissioner, what are you doing? The commissioner have started by number one, giving everybody opportunity. Those who qualify to be promoted have gotten their promotion now. All of them. Nobody is sitting on anybody's promotion now, and nobody is saying that this promotion is without financial backup. Nobody is saying. So everybody is getting what he wants. Now they encourage those that couldn't strive to get more certificates to proceed, because you have seen the dividend of having more certificates. You have seen the outcome. You have seen the outcome. So, the commissioner has started doing what he's supposed to do as a lecturer of that university, because he's still a lecturer of that university. Him too wanted to go out. In fact, that is what necessitated his appointment, so that I will hold him not to go out. He was the national chairman, NATS, National Association of Law Teachers of Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, he's still the head of the environmental law in the whole West Africa. He has headed Africa in environmental law. But because he's from Ebonyi, those respects that he deserves are not being given. If he's from Anambra, before the announcement of his name, almost everybody in the hall will get up to welcome him. And they will put a lot of traditional titles on top of it. So, I am very much grateful for having him here, and also for believing that he has all it takes to do what he's doing, and he's doing it very, very well. Then I met you talk about the International Trade Center. That project you see would have been the signature of the administration of our former governor, His Excellency Dr. Samuel Omiyego. And that project has helped so many stakeholders. But you know, when we were growing up, we were told that the beautiful ones are not yet born. You understand? So the project has been subjected to integrity tests in the last administration. And the result of the integrity test presented to us in the last administration shows that the project did not pass integrity tests. But I said, for a hammer to work is to remove the mortar, because I am a builder by profession, to test the actual concrete. Because what we are testing, or what we ought to be testing, is the concrete, not the mortar. Because if he hits hammer in the mortar, he must definitely show a sign. And the honeycomb sometimes not depict that the project did not qualify or pass the integrity test. Honeycomb may be the effect of compaction. That may cause honeycomb. So it's not as if you see honeycomb, you say, this project is not strong. This structure cannot bear a load. No, it's not true. It's not true. So the government is also doing everything within their reach. Number one, there is a case in court in that project. The case has gotten to the Supreme Court between the contractor and the government, who is the owner of that project. Now, I have discussed with the contractor when I came in, and the contractor has given me the document. I have gone through the document. I am a builder by profession. I know what is right. I know what is wrong. I know who is genuine. But that is not the discussion for today. When that day comes, then I'll put it side by side and tell you the bitter truth. So, we have two issues there. The issue of resolving whether the project passed the integrity test, and the issue of resolving with the contractor to know if government can complete that project, because the essence of that project is still key to the development of our state. Because when I listened to the former governor, Dr. Samuel, he said, at the tail end of my tenure, if you go to all the states, you see a very significant project. But when you come to Ebonyi, there's no building that can announce that you're already in Abakaliki. If you go to other states, you must see 10, 15, 20-story buildings. And I wanted to build the industry. But I didn't have the opportunity of building industry because I didn't have time. It's already at the tail end of my tenure. And I said, okay, since we have been known for so many things that relate to trade, let us build the International Trade Center. That building you see is designed to stand the test of time. Because when I look at the structure, I was Chairman House Committee on Housing. So I know everything about the building very well. And I also worked there as a bricklayer. Yes. So there's nothing that I didn't know about that project. If you talk about the foundation of that project, we have never, no government have ever laid such quality foundation in this state. Because what the government did then, we're supposed to do the PI foundation. They said no. And what government did then is to say, okay, what will it take to remove all the mud in the area of this building and do the road and everything. So now, when the contractor quantified it and sent it to government, and government approved it, even some of us were surprised. That government did not, but that building is not sitting in any mud. It's not sitting in any soil. It's sitting on top of concrete 100%. 100%. That is what people don't know. That building is sitting on top of concrete 100% for almost 3 meters. For 3 meters, the government of Samuel now excavated everything and lay road 100%. They did maths this thing and put concrete on it and cast it for complete 3.2 meters height. 100%. And now start raising rod on top of the slabs. So, and that is it for that building. But when we go into the integrity test, after finishing the discussion with the contractor, we will still come to tell Ebonyans exactly what the bidding is. But whether the administration will complete the bidding, yes, we said it during the campaign, that if the application we sent to Mr. President for demerging the Federal Teaching Hospital Abakaliki is not working, we will convert the building to Federal Teaching Hospital Abakaliki. We said so. So that is it for the International Trade Center. Then, Peter, you talked about establishing health centers at the various various worlds. I don't know where you get the information. We are trying to manage the one we have. We didn't have the manpower ourselves to manage the one we have, and they are talking of establishing another one. We have 171 primary health centers, and we have 14 general hospitals. Then we are talking of establishing another one. Do we have even one functional hospital in this state? Why are we establishing instead of equipping the one we have? So what the government is trying to do, and that is what I think is right, is to equip the one we have, and that is why we start with manpower. That is what is happening. So we are not establishing a new primary health center. It's not possible for us to do that, except when we survived by equipping the one we have, by both providing the necessary equipment and drugs that is needed. Now, we are suffering so many things in health in Ebonyi. If one is sick at Oneim Sudan United Mission, and he needs blood to get the person or to resuscitate the person immediately, and the blood is in Abakaliki, from here to Oneim will take you 4 hours to get to Oneim. What is the guarantee that that person will be alive for you to come here and get drug and get to Oneim Sudan United Mission? There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. And that is why I said that we are going to make use to what we saw in Rwanda, where they use drone to deliver drugs. 24 hours, and it takes only 5 minutes. If they are going to Oneim, it's 5 minutes, they will deliver drug to Oneim. And I have engaged the professor who is in charge of that. I have discussed with him, and he said it's possible. If I am committed to do the thing, it's possible. And I said I'm committed. I'm committed. The only thing is that we may not be doing big things, but we'll be doing what our people need. That is it. So, another issue that is very worrisome, in fact, one governor called me yesterday, and we discussed at length on that, is the issue of approving 13.75 billion for airport that is deemed to have been completed and handed over. Ebonyians, yes, the questions you ask is the questions almost every reasonable Ebonyi man is asking. But the truth is that the mindset of those that started the project is germane. But do we get it right? In the area of the wrong way, we didn't get it right. Why? Because the wrong way is jumping. And if the aircraft land there, you'll be hearing because there's a lot of, initially, we believe that the cause of this thing is the expansion joint. That is what we believed initially. And we said, okay, let us close all the expansion joints and now know why this thing is still jumping. Even yesterday, I used the airport. I also observed the same. And this has destroyed a lot of people's aircraft. And that is why so many aircraft refuse to land there. So that is the reason. And for us to get it right, we approached the Federal Ministry of Aviation. What do we do at this moment? They say that you need to do scarification and now put a tar coat and start laying asphalt. I say, wow. So we're into trouble. But when you look at the amount of money that we've sucked into that edifice, it's not something you get up and say you want to abandon. the former administration sucked 42 billion into that edifice. And it's one of the best and biggest and largest airports. So, I said, okay, how to know a man, even in our own tradition, is for something very difficult to challenge you. So we have been confronted with a lot of challenge on this matter. And we must do something to get it right, because our people's money have been spent on this project. And we must get the project right by putting what is right and what everybody wants. Since we cannot make use of it now, then what is the essence of spending such money? So, and that is the reason why we say, okay, we engage CCECC, we engage Julius Berger, we engage CGC and CBC and so many other contractors to give us quotation. And when we look at it, some gave 14, some gave 15, some gave 11, some gave 10, depending on what they think. But when we look at it with the schedules and also the need of the Ministry of Aviation, we gave it to them to see what they gave to us, whether we can do with those that bidded for 10 billion. They say, well, the total area of this runway is 10 meters, but it's 75 meters by 3.1 kilometers. And they have the extra. The extra is before the landing and after the landing. Because when you land, and if there is any issue in the aircraft, you must run to the end and go outside the landing permit center to park. So you must asphalt that place. Because if the person have trouble of tire, he cannot get into the concrete. So the same person should run down to the outside the landing permit area in the wrong way. So, and that is why you must extend it. So many of these contractors did not take cognizance of that. But Federal Ministry of Aviation now avail all these things to us. Now again, we said, okay, if we want to do 2 inches asphalt, we now find out that because the CCECC came and did soil tests, and the place soil test is superb, it passed. But if you do scarification on top of that concrete, heavily you have wicked the concrete. So you need something that if he's sitting on top of that concrete that you have wicked, then you'll be sitting on top of it comfortably to carry any aircraft that land at that airport. So I said, well, I can't venture into a program or a project that definitely within 2 weeks I will come back and say we're doing maintenance. Let us take it comprehensively. And that is why we said, okay, instead of us to be asphalting within 60 meters, let us be asphalting within 75 meters. That means we are asphalting within the whole space that we have. Instead of us to be asphalting within 3.1 meters, let us be asphalting within 3.8 meters to get everything. And that is what we now checked. And it's okay, again, are we going for 2 inches? The answer is no. It will still feel the sign. And once a big aircraft lands there, the same concrete sign will still reflect. And it's okay. Can we go for 3 inches? The same sign will still reflect because the load will not be high. So we now say, okay, what is the quality and the quantity you need? They now gave us that they need 6 inches asphalt. And this 6 inches asphalt will pass 3 stages to be laid. It is not like asphalting the road. And I said, okay, what is the first stage? They say after scarifications, which is grooving, you now put a tar coat. And it's that tar coat that they will wash and clean it very well, and now put first asphalt on top of it. And that first asphalt will be 3 inches, why they put another tar coat, because that is the way to lay asphalt in the airport. Then after that, they will now put the last asphalt, which is the banding cost. And that is what we agreed on. And we said, okay, we don't know the contractor that can do this job. We don't know the contractor. The former governor had been visiting a lot of federal projects. And he sees the one that IDC did. And that is the only contractor he has confirmed that they did a very good work. And distinguished Senator Ebonyi now called me on phone and said, look, we have a very good contractor who can give you what you want, and the ministries, including the Minister of Aviation, have attested to that. And I said, my brother, that is what I'm looking for. In fact, where are they? He said they are here. I have the bid of the CCACC, which is very high for me to carry. So when I saw these people, they came and they talked reasonably with exactly the items. In the same thing with what the Beja gave me, the same thing with what the CCACC gave me, and some other reputable contractors. And I said, well, it's like these people have experience. So. And that is where we put them to test. And they bid it, and their own is responsive and cheaper. That project, and that is why we said, okay, we want to take them and try them. And I'm sure with the antecedents that they left in the Federal Ministry of Works and also in Federal Ministry of Aviation, because the two ministries also recommended them to me that they have the quantity and they have the manpower and the equipment to do this job, and they will deliver. So I have that confidence, and that is what necessitated it in my brother and the Ebonians. We didn't just venture into it just to spend money, but just to make use of the value of our money that has been spent on that project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, can we give His Excellency a better round of applause? Thank you very much. At this point, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our telephone line is open, and we also have a designated line for SMS only. For calls, 0803-93-84502, and for SMS, 081-4855-4363. We have a caller already. Hello? 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 Good afternoon.
I am an Ebonyian by name Michael Owa Obinna, calling from Tesaba here in Abakaliki. I wish to commend His Excellency the Governor, Right Honorable Chief Francis Mufu, for all the good work he has been doing in the state. He has shown capacity and matches words with action. He indeed started well, and we pray that the good Lord will continue to be with him to end well in Jesus' name. We are really proud of Your Excellency. I give it again to Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Chief Victor Chubu. Looking at the size of his stomach, you will think he can't walk, but Chief Victor runs faster than the Zim was, which shows he is fit for any task. I've seen him so many times going around the city with his workers evacuating waste, scooping gutters and cutting grasses to keep the state clean. This is the first time I've seen the commissioner being under the sun and rain evacuating refuse. Inyadime is doing well. Kudos to Inyadime. I Finally, I wish to appeal to the governor to unblock Nkaliki Junction, the road leading from Moriso to Spedindo. It was blocked by the immediate past government. This is a major road for Christ's sake, the road leading to the State House of Assembly. Blockage of that road has been causing accidents, and it's very stressful for you road users to follow Harris filling station before going to Nkaliki. There is always congestion at Harris filling station junction due to blockage of that said Nkaliki road. Excellency, I appeal to you to unblock the road, please. You are really doing well. We support your government and we are happy for you. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Which particular road are you talking about?
That Nkaliki road, the one leading from Ebonyi State House of Assembly, coming from Ebonyi State House of Assembly, all is on Nkaliki road.
Okay.
Facing the road is blocked and it has been a problem to many road users.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We have another caller. The telephone lines once again. We have 0803 834502. Hello? Okay, we lost that call. We can also take some other questions from the floor, from members of the press. Okay, NTA.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Good afternoon, the elders of the state, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Chinaza John of the NTA. Your Excellency, when you were talking about industrializing the state, I was so happy because we need it. But I want to draw your attention, sir, to the pulverization plant at Omohara. When that program was inaugurated, we were told that it would create wealth to the extent that Ebonyi will even import waste into the state. But the last time we did a report on that project is really at a sorry state. The community members, they're already complaining because on a daily basis, there is this constant burning of refuse instead of the pulverization itself. So I want to know what will be done in that regard. Then another thing is the removal of this fuel subsidy. Civil servants are complaining. That's the reason for the proposed strike that is really telling on them. When you move through Eza Road and the ICC, you will see civil servants on a daily basis flagging vehicles down. Sometimes I go through my office, I will pick those going to UBEB. And if you leave them there, they will stay there. Sometimes when you're coming back, you will still see them by after 9, 10, flagging vehicles down to get to the centenary city. So will anything be done in the transport system so that something can be done for the civil servants? Vehicles can be provided. It is also palliative. The amount can be subsidized for the maintenance of the vehicle. So will anything be done in providing transport for the civil servants? Another thing, the Commissioner for Water Resources, when he was saying, he said we should help him, give him information concerning broken pipes. From Ebebe down and Amika Batan Hall Avenue, the day that water was released, a lot of pipes are broken. I beg you also do something concerning that. Then finally, the menace of tax force. The tax force system in Ebonyi State. I was in a shop one day. Someone came into the shop. He said that he came from the local government. And normally before now, the amount they paid 3,700 for local government business premises. But the bank came in and said 7,200. We pleaded, I even introduced myself to this tax force guy.
He insisted and said it's 7-2, and he collected the machine of this lady. Then I followed, I went to the Ministry of Works, I checked everywhere, I didn't see the man, and up till today, we've not seen him, which means probably he's a fake task force agent. So what can the state do? How can people know those who are genuine task force agents from government? Because when we